a motion to make landfill intern position permanent. I'll do the motion for that.
I will make a motion to have Becky as full-time landfill superintendent.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
I'll second it.
You got a second. Any more?
Scott, could I say something?
No.
Nothing?
No, we can't allow that.
Why?
It's just how it is. Jamie says it's just how you do it. You gotta be on the agenda to begin with there if you're to speak, and then that's what you speak.
Well, let's just assume that I didn't get on the agenda. Could I still speak?
No.
In public forum.
No, you couldn't. Not now. Any other discussion on that?
I will give a quick summary of why I made this motion. We tried this for interim time for 3 months. I have not once seen or experienced any problems. I have asked for specific things of what has not been done at one or the other. I know in the last 3 months there's been some pretty substantial issues out at the landfill. I was out there for days helping with different things. I know Scott was out there dealing with different things. I have not seen one thing that has not gotten accomplished in the auditor's office in that time. And there's been a lot of changes out at the landfill. A lot of the things out at the landfill, we would have been screwed if somebody wouldn't have stepped up and not had anybody out at the landfill for the last 3 months. I think Becky's done a great job fixing stuff out there. And I'll reiterate, I have not seen or heard of one thing that has not been accomplished in the auditor's office because she was out there doing that. So I am making the motion to approve her for full-time as landfill supervisor along with her auditor's position.
Any other discussion?
I believe that she was elected to be an auditor, and it's a full-time job. I'm trying to put 2 full-time jobs with 1 person, and I don't think that can happen.
Anything else? Hearing none, I'll go roll call. Kevin,
Yes.
Marion,
Yes.
Davis.
Nay.
Can Jim hear me? Jim, can you hear?
Yep, I can hear you.
What's your, I went roll call. Did you get that, Jim?
Yeah, I won't know.
Oh, I didn't hear you. All right, then it's up to me. I could see if we've got problems with what's going on. I haven't seen any. My motion is yes. Motion passed. Go to number 9, discussion regarding permanent position wage.
I will make a motion that the wage be set for this position as $2,000 on top of what her current salary is as an auditor, This will come directly from the landfill. All of the benefits will stay at the auditor's office, so there will not be any additional benefits from the landfill. So in essence, it will not cost the county anything because it will come directly out of the landfill, which that is an entirely separate entity from the county. So it's $2,000 with no wages, or no benefits from the landfill.
Okay, I got a motion on the floor. I need a second.
2,000 a month.
$2,000 a month, which is very cheap because you will not find anybody in this state to take that job for $24,000 a year. And you have to look at it as two separate jobs. So you're looking at hiring a landfill supervisor for $24,000 a year with no benefits.
Okay, we got a motion. I need a second.
I'll second.
Got a second. Any more discussion on that? Hear none, I'll go roll call. Kevin,
Yes.
Marion,
Yes.
Davis,
Nay.
Jim,
Hey,
and I'll go yes. Motion passed. Before we go to the number 10, we'll take a 5-minute break.
Doc, we gotta go into our doctor's appointment. I'm gonna let you go.
All right, talk to you, good luck.
But it isn't gonna, as long as you have it. You will not, and everybody else. Well, like she said the other day, I'll fire whoever I Oh, I wouldn't, but I told him last night when he talked to me, I said, you have to be up there. If you don't go up there. He must have slept in. You can't. Slept in. He cornered me last night and talked to me, and I said, you have to go up there and sign up. And he's talking an inch. Oh, she said that the other day right in here. And who would care? Well, yeah. That's like I told that guy from the state, he tried to do it. I just wrote him a note and said, I talked to the kid
talking about it, and she just wanted my opinion and what I thought. Otherwise, no, something. So we all got
Anything other than.
Did you see that?
Anybody sitting here now?
Because you wasn't here last.
I kinda wanna go there.
No, I was thinking, I don't think that's. This is all the.
Yeah, and casket it. I said I'd call them back after all this is said and done, just to see if maybe they were late, but it did. And I called the big shop, nobody heard it. And I called over to the bar because the city hall wasn't open over there. And she didn't hear it. And I said, I'll call you back in a little bit and see if maybe they're a little bit behind, so.
Yeah, they shows at the 3% increase.
I'll let you know either way. This is the value for each piece.
Oh,
I mean, there's like 4 of them.
what is that? I've never seen it. What did you do to it? What?
On the front page, that's 2
Are we starting?
I just felt one with family and one with starting single.
Call the meeting back to order. Discussion regarding 2020 budget. All right, we'll start off with number 1, commissioners. See any different changes that need to be made there? I don't see any. Contingency. Elections. Courts. Auditors. Josh, we just will talk about it now, not Josh.
I think Jamie was going to on that subject.
Which one?
On the raise. I think some of the department heads talked with me at least, and then they figured that it would be fair to all the employees if you gave just a certain dollar amount per hour raise rather than a percentage, because the higher wages make a higher raise than the lower wages. So I think there was some talk around 70 to 73 cents an hour, which would be basically would be the amount of if you gave 3% to everyone, and Deb can correct me, I think it was 73 cents an hour, is if you gave that raise to everyone, that way everyone would get the exact same raise and it would cost the same amount as a 3% across the board raise. But it would be more fair to the lower wage people. And I know I talked to Deb, Casey, on that end, but I don't know about the rest of the department.
We've talked to Nyla, we've talked to Amanda.
We haven't talked about it, but I do like the idea.
Okay. And was the number 73 cents, Deb?
73 would give, I think the way I had it figured, to give 3% would be about $91,400. If you gave 73 cents, it would be about 91,100, or 70 cents maybe would be $91,100. I think it goes, if you gave less than that, then of course it's less. Like I think 50 cents an hour was like 62 or 65,000 or something like that.
How many total employees we got?
Well, approximately 60, but
Yeah.
there's part-time and
Yeah, and that, because, yeah, I didn't break it apart for part-time and stuff, but about 60 employees that we based it on.
I think that would be a lot more fair.
And that's kind of what a lot of the department heads, when we talk, thought it's much fairer to all the employees than given a straight percentage, because then the higher wages get the higher raise and the lower salaries get a lower raise. So give everyone the same
We've
raise.
done a percentage for a number of years in a row, so that gap just continues to widen. So maybe we need to do a dollar amount for a few years to kind of narrow that gap and bring those hourly people up a little bit. As long as it wouldn't cost the county any more money, you know.
What's the commission feel? Davis?
I have no problem with that. I mean, I can see what everybody's saying with the higher wage. The 3% is going to be definitely a bigger increase, where a lower wage wouldn't be that increase. As long as the department heads talked about it and if you're Alderman and everybody comfortable with it, I sure wouldn't have a problem doing that.
I don't remember the numbers for sure, but I think somewhere around like 3% that at the people that are making, I think it's 1542, theirs would be at 3% be like 1588, and at 70 cents it would be like 1612 or something like that. That would be the difference. Something, those are close, not exact.
What do you think, Kevin?
I don't have a problem with it.
All right, that's what we'll do then.
What are we setting 70 or 73 or what are we setting?
Well, if they haven't figured out for 73, then that's what we should figure it at, is 73. If that looks like the number that's gonna work, either 70 or 73, which one's gonna be?
Yeah, 70
Just
70
run
I
it
think
and
everybody would
See what comes closest to 3%.
okay.
All right, let's do that one. Anything else in the order? Courts.
You're going backwards. So.
Do it.
You. Courts is before alternate.
Talk to it. Yep. I went backwards. Okay. Nothing on courts then? We did auditors. Treasurers. Everything look good on treasurers?
It looks good. The health insurance actually goes up to 18%. That might not be quite enough in there. By about $600.
Have we heard any more, any final figures of what that's actually gonna go up?
No. That's what it's figured as for the both of you.
Right. By the time I include like the dental, the life division, the health insurance, and the HSA in there, I come up with about $600 more than that.
$600?
656. I don't know if you want to increase that by 650 maybe?
I'll look at it closer. That's what the amount was coming in at 18%. But we're not doing 18% on all those, just the health.
Correct. Correct. I took the actuals instead of what we had last year.
Well, why don't you check into that, then
Yeah.
we'll go over it next time. State's attorney.
Jamie, the only thing I have, you got 2,000 in for rentals. What would there be for rentals?
I think it's like the postage machine and some other stuff like that.
Because you never went above, well, one year you had 1,300 in there, but it's usually less than 1,000.
In rentals is the highest
Or,
was 167.
Yeah, in rentals,
Yeah,
your
you can-
highest was 167.
You can drop that down if you want. And say 500.
500.
Yeah.
That'll work.
And then your supplies was part of that new law library, or?
No, the law library doesn't come out of there. That's
Yeah, that's
included
not
in
in my
courts.
budget. Yeah, that's in court.
Oh, okay.
Just gonna leave supplies the way it is, 85.
Yeah.
Quarter appointed attorney. We got where it's at, 150.
This is the one we suggested increasing last
Potential,
time.
yeah, that was kind
Because
of
it was at 95 or something, then went up to 150.
150.
Abused child defense. Courthouse. Leave that.
The one thing on the courthouse, we got $50,000 in repairs and maintenance. Is this something that we're looking at? This is what we're talking about, possibly new lighting and stuff.
Yeah. Jamie's got issues down there, it looks like sometimes with the lighting.
Yeah. They're all, I know talking with the custodian, a lot of these lights are, the ballasts are going bad or something and they're really expensive to replace. And most of these are pretty ancient when it comes to lighting systems. And it's all pretty much this or the tube lighting.
we should leave it where it's at.
Okay.
DOE,
The only thing different I didn't point out to you last time, and I should have, is that in my salaries, there's enough budgeted in there for a half-time person instead of a quarter-time person. I would like to leave that if I could, please.
you mean the 92 or the 89?
The 89 is figured with a quarter. So the 89, that's.
What I put in, what my request was with the half-time.
Right.
So, thanks.
Supplies, you gonna leave that at 10?
I think my supply budget looks a little deceiving because I tend to wait until October and November and then order like a lot of ink toners, a lot of paper. So I only have to order once or twice a year instead of having stuff coming all the time. So I will, and I need paper, I'm nearly out of paper, so I will order quite a bit of paper this fall.
Okay. Registered deeds.
I had also put in for a half-time employee. That was really the only thing that I had changed.
So the requested amount for half-time is 64 and the approved amount of the quarter time is 55.
Well, that was with a 5% increase that they had originally requested.
Okay.
So I'll have to rerun it in here if you guys approve them getting a half-time to share.
I'd like you to think about that seriously, if that would be possible. That we could each get someone for $20 a week.
Well, now you gotta think about it. About going to half instead of quarter, so we just have to make up our mind before we're done.
Yeah,
Not today, but.
right. If you'd think about it, please.
Right. Vet service officer. No changes. Predator animal. Josh.
I'm coming in to sit down because usually I have to. Good morning. Not much of a change from last time, besides the changes with the salary portion, what you guys just talked about with the 3%. Be roughly the same anyway. I have one correction on the, Becky, if you got the DARE one sitting, I just got that as part of mine, so. That's at 800, I want to lower that to 5. I think 500 is good enough for right now.
What number is it?
It's page,
Back somewhere.
page 71. So the reason I did that is because Scott pays for the shirts.
Yes, and Deb pays, the The t-shirt, there's several things that are different things for the graduation that are supplied by people from Selby here.
But we buy them and then they reimburse.
Correct.
So the reason that I have the 800 is because every year it seems like we have to do contingency to that budget because it's not originally budgeted for to make the purchase.
Okay.
And we can't really do a budget, we can't do just a standard budget supplement when we get that money back because it doesn't
Okay.
qualify. So that's
Okay.
why I built it in that way. So I build in the revenue and the expense.
Okay.
So that's why it's 800.
Okay, that's fine. I'm glad you explained that because we will leave it then.
Okay.
Because otherwise it looks
Seems
like we
like
went
we
over the
did.
budget, you know.
Nope, that's fine. I understand.
I guess I had one thing for you, Josh. You got,
Yes.
for your auto and major equipment, you got 106,000 in there.
Yes, sir, I did.
Okay, that's to replace 2 vehicles.
Correct. And any equipment if needed, because a lot of the equipment is getting age on it, and actually some of it we went past. Most of it they want you replacing within 5 years. It's no different than what we do with our computers. Different pieces of equipment, like the stuff in my car, it's still working, but it's way past its shelf life, any warranties and stuff on it. So if the camera system per se goes down in my car, that's going to be about close to $4,000 to replace the in-car video.
Okay.
And I wanna rotate my 2 oldest ones out, and my oldest vehicle and my highest mileage out is what we got to somehow get on a rotation with these vehicles because they're all racking up miles on them. So we haven't really ever been on a rotation. I think it's a good starting point. Like I said, we're kind of behind the 8 ball on that, and I'd like to get something started.
Okay, I guess my question is, what do you got right now, 4 vehicles or 5?
And 2 of them would be going away, so, yeah. 5 with the extra Tahoe that we bought.
Okay, so you got 5 vehicles. There's 3 of you. Is one of these the jail cart that you're getting rid of, or?
Correct.
Okay, why wouldn't it be under jail then instead of under sheriff's department?
Because that's where we moved it last time. We actually, we even moved that back door to the sheriff's office because of that, when we bought it.
But if we're using it for jail, shouldn't it be under jail? And I guess the other
as far
thing,
as a line item, it doesn't, yeah, I guess it can be.
I guess the other thing I'm getting at is, why is Justin driving back and forth every day still?
Well, he's been helping me out while I've been short-handed, and I got someone.
I understand that, but according to all of our paperwork, Justin is not part of the sheriff's department, he is part of the jail. So technically, with the paperwork that was filed, if he is not on the sheriff's side at all, can he be part of the sheriff's department? Because you are allowed yourself and 2 deputies, 2 full-time deputies and 2 part-time deputies.
Mhm.
That's the resolution that was signed and went into effect. So can he be doing law enforcement activities?
I guess if I, being the department head, if I ask him to, yes.
Okay, does he need a vehicle to drive home every day?
He hasn't been. Only during this time when we were short-handed, and I had the other deputy agree that he has been.
I've been, a lot of people have been telling me how many nights there's a vehicle at Justin's house every night.
Yeah, he's been taking it home because he's subject to call out like I am. I mean, no different than I am or one of the other guys. So, yes, he's doing dual purpose position right now.
Okay, are we taking it out of the right account?
I guess we can move those dollars around, I guess. But that.
If we're gonna get a new vehicle for the jail, shouldn't it be under the jail instead of under the sheriff's department?
Well, mine's one of them that's gonna be replaced, so.
Okay, I don't have a problem with yours being under the sheriff's department. So shouldn't there
But
be
essentially, I guess we'll have the Tahoe that's still,
if we're using it for jail, shouldn't it be under jail?
yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
Just like the gas that's being used in it, everything's coming out of the sheriff's department.
Well, yes. I guess any transporting, it's always been filled, it's still a sheriff's office function, I guess. Jail is just a portion of the sheriff's office. I still, it's still, I'm the department head for it, so it's still, I guess I don't know what to call it, but
To me, if we're gonna see what it's actually costing the jail, and we're taking money from the sheriff's department to using in the jail, it's not showing any money. That money should be shown in the jail as operating costs of the jail. And right now it's not. Especially if you're gonna throw a vehicle in there, plus all the fuel. What is the true cost of running the jail? If we didn't have that jail, then those expenses wouldn't be coming out of the sheriff's department.
I would still,
But we're not showing what the true cost of the jail is.
well, regardless of what occurs, I'm still gonna need a jail budget, which I'm still responsible for.
I understand,
Okay,
but we're not showing the true cost of those monies because they're coming out of the sheriff's department. And in my opinion, it should be coming out of the jail. Because there's nothing in the jail as far as automotive or anything like that.
and I think we did that with the Tahoe at one time, and then we rotate it back out, and I guess the auditor can help me out with that. I don't recall exactly what we did.
That's Debbie.
It would be pretty simple if you want it to be separated as far as the fuel used and things like that, to just go off of the miles on the car compared to the total miles, and then you could split the gas bill that way. That's an option. The repairs and maintenance, I believe we do take out of the jail for that vehicle at this time.
There's nothing budgeted for it out of the jail.
There's 90,000 in repairs and maintenance.
For automotive and major equipment.
That's just purchasing it.
Yeah. That was the only thing I had. To me, I think it should be.
And what you'd like to see is one of each then.
Right. I don't know, I'm asking.
I just have to replace mine, the top. But, yeah,
No, so we essentially still using it.
yeah. We're not replacing the Tahoe this year, or next year,
So
so still keep. I think the plan that he put in was for the sheriff's side, for their two vehicles.
on the sheriff's side. I'm not getting rid of the Tahoe to stay where it's at. The actual extra, the high mileage Taurus is the one that would go down the road along with mine. I'll have high mileage on mine by the time we actually, if we actually make a purchase or buy anything. I guess the Tahoe has always essentially been part of the jail already. I still utilize it during winter when I need four-wheel drive. We used it a lot this last winter.
Now, any of these ones that you're looking at, are they gonna be four-wheel drive, or are you gonna be
Yes.
satisfied with it? They are?
Well, they're SUV, yes.
Okay.
So you need 5 vehicles for 3 people?
Well, one's good, I mean, if I'm rotating 2 out, I guess what you're saying is, do I need to? Is what I'm getting at. Okay.
Do you need?
I guess the,
If we're gonna put them on a rotation, do you need 2 right now?
I could get by with 1 right now on a rotation.
If we put them
If
on
we
a
go into a
rota-
rotation.
If
and
we
get
would
into
put
the-
them on a rotation.
Correct. Because I'm gonna, the other ones are pushing high mileage already also.
If we put in for 1 this year, 1 next year, 1 2 years down the road, would that suffice, or do you need 2 of them right now?
I can do that.
And then when we replace the Tahoe, put it underneath the jail part instead of underneath the sheriff's part.
Yeah, we can do that.
So it actually shows of which one we're actually using it under to get it closer.
Okay. Oh, we can do that.
So you want to split this in half then? Go 53,000?
Roughly, yeah.
Anything else?
I don't think I have anything else on that. Unless you guys do.
Yeah.
I guess my only thing is we still need to make a decision on what we're gonna do with that building. I gave the rest of the commissioners 3 different options to look at. I still think we need to make a decision on what we're gonna do with that building.
Yeah, I agree, I know we do, and I know what we built in, and why it was the 3 main issues. We have not went and met with the other counties yet. But the whole idea is what we're gonna do for any type of maintenance over there, and that's why that figure was put in there. And we all know that's what was discussed. But I guess my main issue is, the roof right now. That's right now scheduled for September to get that, regardless of what we're gonna do, to get that fixed so it quits ruining other things. I know Scott had a plan of incorporating that portion of that building, that addition, into something, into a project. We don't want that totally to get dilapidated and ruined. I understand Kevin's point, what kind of dollars we want to put in there. I agree to a point, I agree to a point, but we also need to come to a decision what we want to do here.
I don't have any problem with replacing the roof to fix that part of it. Other things that you had on your list I disagree with.
Okay.
But that's why we need to make a decision on what we're gonna do with that building. I mean, you got in here 90,000 for repairs and maintenance.
Yeah, and we, what was it before, Justin, when we did, I mean, we added, obviously added that $71,000 figure that we came up with those 3 items. I gave you a second one that you guys seen. There was a 4th item on it, but, you know, that's not a need, so, need to happen thing.
70, I think, was a roof included, but if the roof is done this year, it obviously won't be done next year. And then 30 is what's in there for this year. So I guess gotta, I guess, pick what you want.
And I wanted that slated as soon as possible, and we get a bunch of snow sitting on top of it again.
I think it was roof, windows, and fires.
Yes, those were the top 3.
Yeah, so if we did the roof this year, that, I mean, you'd still be.
Yeah, so you essentially take that 12,400, 500 off of there.
12,945, whichever it was. Yeah, with the 15-year warranty.
So
But that would
can
at
we
least
make a decision sometime before the budget gets finalized so we can have a number put in here of what we're gonna do for repairs and maintenance? Or decide what we're gonna do with this building?
I hope we can. Okay, have you guys figured out anything else with the other counties?
No, that like I said, Scott, no, we haven't met with them yet. We haven't come up with a date, but I know we're trying to, but we gotta collectively figure out a date that's gonna work for all of us. And I think you even said in your possibly even a special meeting inviting them to one.
That would probably be, truthfully, the quickest, I would almost guess.
We'll get together with that, but that's the only question I would have on the jail side of it is 90,000. So we need to make a decision on what's going to happen with that building before we just arbitrarily throw a number in here. We could easily throw in 200,000 on there and have no idea what we're going to do with the building.
Well, the only thing is with those numbers that I put in, the rules were based off actual quotes. I mean, but we already discussed that. But, if I can plan, I mean, we've always put money in there. It was quite higher. We've never, and we've brought that down the last couple of years. We gotta have something there in case something happens, so that it's gonna cover it otherwise. I mean, you're gonna look at an emergency contingency fund or whatever you wanna call it. I'm gonna have to come and ask you for dollars to fix an emergency over there, obviously.
Why don't you just do a little thinking about that for the next meeting, and if we wanna lower that or what we really.
Yeah, we may get some of our meetings done that we need to, by then next meeting can be kind of quick, but I think we want to know the stance on these other counties also to help us try and make that decision. But
I guess to me, I think if we could push a special meeting, I know I wouldn't have a problem with it for them other counties.
So you're saying have a special meeting here and invite the counties here?
Yeah.
That would too.
If it doesn't work, you go into every other county, which maybe it'd be better off just to invite them here.
A special day.
That's what I mean. Because by the time you go to each and every county, that would take a long time alone unless you would just invite all 6 of them here and have one meeting here. To me, that would make more sense rather than travel. That would take quite a while. Most of the guys' meetings are probably on our day.
Well, most of them are. They can answer on a Monday, but they meet once a month, we meet too, so. And most of them are on the same Tuesday, the first Tuesday of the month, so.
I guess I think I would throw that at them and see what they would say to that.
I'll get with you after the meeting, we'll try it. 'Cause I got a couple other ideas to go over with you too, so.
Okay.
Anything else on the jail?
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Coroner. Juvenile detention. Emergency and disaster.
I have a few changes on it. As far as the services and fees, I increased it to an even 1,500 instead of the original 11 that I had put in, just to give me the base 500. After that, guaranteed 1,030. So if anything else comes up, I kind of have that original budget amount that was on there. Also on the repair and maintenance side, I went from the original $1,000 that I put in to $2,000 since the EM vehicle is going to be solely my responsibility instead of sharing it with the weeds department. And then also the utility side, I increased it from the 1,400 to 2,000 because after my last month-end budget, I think I had like $700 some already expensed. And I figured with that 1,400, it was just a little bit too close for comfort. I don't want to go over, so I just jumped it up to the even 2,000, just to give me a little bit of cushion in case something increases next year. And then also, those are all my increases, but just thinking, you know, after the discussion of not sharing the pickup with the weeds department anymore, you know, something to think about it too, I guess, is the vehicle is here, and I'm obviously in Mobridge. So I just kind of wanted to bring it up for you to think about allowing me to drive it back and forth, because I'm subject to be called out at any given time. I already sometimes take it when I know severe weather's coming or winter storms or things like that if I need to go out. I have responded to 3 incidences already in my personal vehicle, which is subject to liability for the county anyway. I try to stay farther back than I probably normally would in my personal vehicle. And then I also had an incident where I didn't have my EM vehicle. The incident was over here by Selby. It was one of those calls where I thought maybe a hazmat was going to be involved, so I thought I probably should be on scene. By the time I got here, I only got to about 15 miles away from the incident by the time I drove all the way back over here to get my vehicle and to get out to the scene. And it ended up not being anything, thankfully, but I missed it because I had to take a half hour to come all the way back over here versus just going straight down to the incident. So my supply budget, with it being what it's at, and kind of figuring what gas would cost to go back and forth, and then obviously some training, leaving it at the 8,000 would still get me by and still have some left over to do other things, you know, if I would have to increase my gas costs going back and forth. So I just kind of wanted to bring that up too, so that I have the accessibility to have my vehicle with me at all times. Because if I don't have my vehicle, I don't have my radios either. So when I go onto a scene, I can't communicate with anybody on scene. So it's just kind of some issues that came up, I guess, concerning the vehicle.
I guess then I would have to look at it, then I'd be kind of the same way with the highway department too then. Then they should have their vehicle beside them too then. So I guess personally I'll have to do some thinking on that. That's just my...
Yeah, it's definitely something to think about. It's just, yeah, if, you know, weather spotting the other night too on the severe weather. And I know other weather spotters, you know, use their own personal vehicle and stuff, but, you know, communicating back and forth with the PD and stuff, you know, I had to call them up instead of just calling them on the radio. Just things of that nature, so.
Isn't there a handheld radio you can get that'll do the same thing?
That's the other thing that I found that I probably need to add to my supplies is getting a digital handheld so that I can bounce off and back and forth. I know that my radio is programmed so that you know, if I'm on the same scene as Josh or one of the other deputies, I can bounce off of their repeater. But other than that, if I just have that tagging along, I think I'm kind of a fish out of water without having one of them on scene. I mean, Josh can kind of relay, I guess, a little bit more.
I don't know if that's we had them and we went away from them, the big digital portable radios. They were very spotty and they didn't work a lot of the time. We had a lot of issues with them. These are analog. They work through our radio, through our repeater system. I have an extender with each radio, which is the repeater. And her portable that she has now will work off that extender. Those extenders, if she's in the area, it works actually really well. It basically goes through your car radio and back out. But the digital radios, the portables, they're big. They didn't work well for the sheriff's office. That's why we went to these. We've had no issues with these and the extender system. But so I don't want to see her spend bad money. I just know that we went away from them. We had them at one time, and they sat on our desk because they were either out of service. They wouldn't let you. I mean, it wouldn't hit the tower. You didn't know if they were going to work, and we rely on these very heavily. And that was and they're a lot of money. They're just as much as one of our mobile radios that we stick in the car. So, just my 2 cents, but not saying she doesn't need radio communications. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying the issues that we had, and then we went away from them. But her radio will work through the extender, but she needs her vehicle close to work through that radio and back out.
Okay, thank you. Support of poor. Economic assistance. County nurse. Ambulance. Other health assist. Mentally ill.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question on that. I don't oversee that budget, but I'm kind of tied to it with some of the stuff that I do. I think that, I know right now we are already, for mental board services and fees, we are over what was budgeted. And I'm here to tell you we're halfway through the year and I have 24 cases with 6 new ones on my desk. So I don't know if you want to consider a little more there or not. I mean, I just look at the numbers that I put together when I do that that yearly report, and I just wanted to give you the information that I have on that as of now. And that counts, the board services and fees would be for court, sheriff, service, anything like that. And then there are the medical needs, which would be the qualified medical health professional report, any kind of, before you can take somebody to a mental health facility, they have to be cleared medically, which means that's a physical and stuff. And those numbers have gone up considerably too. I can't get us any break on the qualified medical health professional. But that's simply because that is an on-call thing that is very important to the sheriff's office, that individual, that professional comes over here at all hours, weekends, nights, and does those to help quicken that 48 hours they have to be able to get them or transfer them to a facility. So I'm just voicing my concerns that, you already are going to have to add to it.
where you might need to bump that a little more for 2020.
Which one are you on, the mentally ill one, or?
There's multiple mentally ill ones.
No.
The board one is page 38. Or no, page 39.
39, and then there's 38 too.
39 is almost overspent already. We've seen a huge increase in those.
There's nothing we can do, you know, it just, the hospital can't turn them away. Josh has to hold them here, Sheriff Wall has to hold them here because the hospital will not hold them. If we don't do it the way that Sheriff Wall is doing it, that would mean the county would be paying for an ambulance. And it isn't always just a quick turnaround. That's why you have, is it 48 or 72 hours? 72? 48. You have that bit of time to be able to get a qualified medical health professional to evaluate that person, and time to get a physical, because a mental health facility is not engaged to handle anything. If I had a bad heart, wasn't taking my medication, and I had actual medical problems, no matter if my mental health was bad or not, they could not take me because that facility is not geared for that particular type of medical emergency. So I would have to be cleared by a medical professional before I would be allowed to enter into the mental health program that was deemed. But I'm seeing a huge increase.
Which one are you talking on? Page 39 or?
I'm on 39 and 38, the two of them.
No, 35 and 39. 38 is Northeastern Mental Health.
I don't have 35. Page 35, we are currently we are over our budget.
4,000, almost 200 over.
And I don't see that fee going down either. I mean, those are costs that I can get them as small as I can, and I've been doing that, but there
Okay,
is.
so what's your recommendation for page 35 to up it to 8,000?
I would at least try that, you know. I think that's a good start for sure on page 35. Because I just see it's just growing, and I can't predict if Becky sees the same things in the board fees and services, which are court related.
I'm just trying to come up with a number that we can get close at, so we don't have
I
to
would
do
say
all.
try at 3,000, and it's anybody's guess, you know. After these next 6, maybe I won't have another case cross my desk, but then maybe I'll get 25 more. I mean, I can't tell you that's one of those things that it's, you know, but I can tell you that we're seeing an increase. Becky can attest to that.
You want to go to 10,000 so we can,
I would go at least 9 on there, and I would go probably at least 15 on the other one, at least.
okay, so page 35,
Go to 9,000.
go to 9,000. I'm just trying to figure out which one to put this in, so.
39 is the mental board services. The currently amount expended is $9,009. We budgeted $5,500 for the year, so we're over, almost
Double.
$3,500 over already.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Should we go to, on that one there, you're saying 15, but I mean, based on what we're looking at here, we're going to be pushing 18,000 if we continue.
The pattern continues the way it is.
18 to 20, I think.
I would go the higher number, honestly. These numbers aren't going to go down.
And the cost
We're the
is-
only hospital in the area, and most of this is not county related. And we're going to continue to see more and more. So I would shoot high, if anything.
Go to 18 then?
I would almost go 20, honestly. Don't you think, Brenda?
I do. I mean, we're halfway through, and we're almost at 10, you know? And I know that Becky's going to see some more bills, because I have the beginning paperwork for, I keep track if they get sent, if they don't get sent, if they're from our county, if they're not from our county. But unfortunately, statute requires that because we are the beginning spot for those people, if the county they originally come from does not pay for that beginning stuff that we're paying for, we're liable for it. That's how statute reads. And I hate it more than you do, because I feel like I'm writing that check. But there's nothing you can do. That's what statute says for mental health, and, you know.
I would say on page 39, let's go to 20,000.
All right, we'll go back to 36 disabled.
Page 36.
Yeah, we want to buy that.
We're on page 36, we're already above what we expended this year too.
So, with developmentally disabled, we normally had one person that we paid $60 for every month. In Redfield, I believe is where they're at.
Yep.
But now we've been getting bills from this other place quarterly.
Yeah.
That we've never had before.
There should be a number on there to call to find out, and they can tell you who they're actually holding or who they're actually paying for. And I would always do that and ask for documentation. I do that all the time when they're requesting us to pay for a mental health hold. And they'll just say mental health, and I say, well, I don't have any paperwork. Ship me the paperwork. Oh, it wasn't a hold. It was voluntary. Well, it's denied instantly by statute. So you'll have to do a little digging. I think it must be a juvenile, and that is there on that particular one, I want to say.
Yeah, I believe we already did contact them.
Yeah, and I believe it's a juvenile on that one, and it's a juvenile facility, because I don't think there was room at Redfield, I believe is where because a lot of the juvenile facilities for all these things are kind of shrinking fast for the whole state, which makes it harder to place somebody when you need to get them somewhere in a program.
My point is, do we need to raise this?
We probably should.
Go to 1,000.
I don't know. 1,000, will 1,000 cover it, or?
I would at least go to 1,400.
We're already at 840 for this year.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and if this person's not permanently there, then it's not going to be the amount every month, but we don't know.
Okay, go to 14 on it then? So we're just going to leave the mental health center one right where it's at, 15.5.
That's what you guys give to Northeastern Mental Health every year.
Okay. Page 40, the museum, leave it 4,500. So we give them every year, right?
Yeah.
Parks, gonna leave them at 750.
There's a possibility that we might end up taking over one, so we might have to, if we do that, we're gonna probably end up with more costs on it.
That mouse, you mean? Well, that's worried about it then.
Here.
Senior citizen, leave at 75. TV translator.
Sell it.
Extension.
Well, I have a question. This is, Sherry and I did this one together, and I just helped her. It was her first year where she came, and she's actually here at the beginning of the process. And we asked for $40,845 for salary, and you budgeted $47,000. Is that because My question would be, is that because we always fall short and at the end of the year, you're always putting money in because Campbell County's, when they reimburse you, it goes in the general fund, so it's kind of like the DARE program, wouldn't it, where you would want all the funds here to not have to put money back, or am I wrong, Becky?
Well, it looks like what it's built in as is there's 13,000 for yours and 33,000 for Sherry's.
Okay, so then that would reflect your host salary this year then, correct?
Yeah.
Because, well, I know that last year we still fell a little short there, and you had been working on that, trying to get that so that because it gets paid back, but because of how you can't just put the money back into the fund.
Right, yeah,
Right.
and it gets paid like the end of the year one, we don't get till the next year, so.
Right, and I just don't want the extension office to look bad, you know, like we're always over budget.
Yeah,
'Cause we
that's
try
why I
hard,
budget
we
the
try
whole
hard
amount.
to, you know, keep that to what it is.
Do you feel you need the supplies at 3,000?
We built in for that computer, and I'm sharing 3 ways, but you took it out of the poor relief supplies. Because we requested 2,100 and we brought it back down to 1,600. And that'll probably work. But then 500 of that 3,000 would be that computer. So next year I can replace the desktop, which is,
It needs to go.
it's like, I think, a 2014. And I'm using it, trust me, but there's days I have to bring the whole computer down and wait 15 minutes and bring it all back up.
I think that was supposed to stay at 2,100.
It doesn't reflect that it
I
did.
don't, I see that, but I don't remember them bringing that down.
I just saw that on the deal and I just wanted it to reflect, because I split that computer, all 3 offices paid for that, and that printer, because I do work for 3 different offices.
Is that that's on the DARE?
No, four.
Poor relief.
Page 29.
So you think that you'll bring that one back up?
Yep.
Anything else?
You see anything else in there?
Otherwise, I think
we're where we should be. As low as we can go.
All right, thank you. Soil conservation. Just leaving it at 18.5. That's just for the insurance. Weed control.
Everything stayed the same on that, to what you guys wanted it to be when we were at the last meeting, except I did change the auto and equipment because that quote did come in at 3,500.
To transfer it over.
So I did change that to the 40.
Planning and zoning.
I don't think Rick has requested any changes.
Okay, thank you.
When you guys meet with Gary tomorrow, you'll probably want to go over his, because he had asked questions about those certain ones, but then never submitted what he would like in there. As far as repairs and maintenance, supplies.
Yeah, we can just talk with Gary then tomorrow.
Yep.
road and bridge.
Yeah. Gary's not here anymore.
Right, those that major equipment too.
Communication center, fire protection. Domestic abuse. Solid waste.
I left that the same as the last meeting, except for, those of you that have been out there know how bad of shape our pickups are in out there. I was looking on federal surplus, and there's some decent ones on there for, under 25,000. But they're falling apart. So if you guys want to take it out, you can, but we could really use some new pickups out there. Not new, but newer than what we have.
No question, they should be at a car crusher, those pickups.
We don't need anything new, or fancy, we just need something that's,
A few years ago, Penny got some good ones. Not much money.
yeah. Yeah, I was looking, there's some decent ones with pretty low miles for around 22,000.
Should be it. Anything else? When are we gonna do the next one? Do the next budget at the commission meeting? Is that what we're gonna do?
Is that for the final one?
Not necessarily.
Oh,
Would be the 6th.
Yeah. I think we should. Next meeting, but not the final.
Shouldn't take long to go through this stuff again, because it wasn't that many changes.
No. And then Mary and I are gonna see Gary tomorrow anyhow with some of the roads that we can talk
We should
about.
have pretty much, if we put the decision of what we're gonna do on the jail building on there, and we can contact these other counties, we'll have a better idea of what that's gonna be. I think we'll do it after our next meeting.
Jamie, when is the guy has to file for, what is it, the secondary road tax that guy can use? Yes.
Yeah, Marion has that law in front of him. It has to be done by July 15th.
Which we already passed that.
So we gotta wait a year. How does that whole process work? I mean, do you file that, Jamie, or how does?
I would assume it's probably going to be a resolution where you pass a resolution stating that you're going to implement that, it gets sent off to Pier, and then somehow it works its way back where we get a percentage once they start collecting. Does that sound right to you, Becky?
I think actually it's a levy that
We put
include
on,
on our taxes.
but we don't have to send it to Pier and then it comes back, or?
Right.
Okay.
But the thing about it is I think we would pass a resolution and then the public would have an option to argue it.
Public hearing.
Yep, and then they have a certain amount of time.
To refer it.
Yep.
Based on, excuse me, based on this, it says the levy not to exceed $1.20 per $1,000 of taxable valuation if the total taxable valuation of the county is $1 billion or less. So that's where we would fall.
What is it, 1 billion or 1 million?
1 billion.
Or less, yeah, that would be us.
So we would be able to levy up to $1.20 per thousand.
Correct. And you could do this way ahead of time, I mean, and so you don't fall behind the gun with regard to coming in late. I would probably look at forecasting, maybe doing this at the beginning of the year next year, somewhere in that time frame where you're far enough out where it's already well taken care of before the deadline passes. Especially if it's going to be referred or if there's going to be some issue with regard to it.
Is it something that we couldn't do now?
You could do now too,
And
absolutely.
just make sure it's done, so when we get to
Absolutely.
that point in time and next year comes around, we're not missing the...
You could already have it done. I don't think there's any time frame as far as, we just have to have it done by, was it July 15th for the next year, correct? So if we did it, say tomorrow, we'd already be squared away for 2021. So yeah, that's something to look at too, doing it now.
Okay, if nothing else, I'd take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion on the floor and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Right.
Opposed, say nay. Motion passed.
Do you want to do that way ahead of time?